really enjoyed the film. Really thrilling. I had to say, when I got an email saying it was called Measure of Revenge, I was like, that sounds like my kind of film. That's a title right there. That gets me straight in. Melissa, maybe I'll ask you this question first. What was the lure for you when you got the script and read the characters? What compelled you to want to get involved in this one?
Well, the most obvious thing of what Lillian ends up doing once her son has been killed is not the reason I wanted to do the film, but because Lillian is an actor. And so I could understand, in a psychological level, that perhaps the death of her child gives her a snap in her, and the characters that this actor has played in her past begin to push her. Is she thinking for herself, or are they thinking for her? Are they really there, or is she crazy? No, she's not crazy. She's an actor. And this is the information that's been input all her life. And so in her grief, she goes and does what she ends up doing. But it's, I must say, every time I have to mention that it's a film. It's not meant to be some kind of account of psychological or grief or the awful, awful loss of a child. It's a movie.
Indeed. And Bella, what was the lure for you with this? Because it's a kind of a new character for you, and there's new layers and everything else. So what was the lure for you for this one?
Melissa was the lure for me. She lured me in. To have a chance to work with, her, I couldn't believe that, Jen was calling me. Our producer that we both know, Jen Gation, the producer on the movie. And I was like, oh my God. And then I read the script and I was like, okay, this makes sense why she wants to do this, because, when you read like a little excerpt, you definitely get thriller and crime from it. And when you read the script, you definitely understand that is just a very, very small piece of a much bigger picture. And I was like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. You just, there's always tropes to play, and I'm a script writer myself, and with writing, you definitely see a lot of tropes, and when you are able to like mask them all in this beautiful like multi-layered character of like more characters to her, it was just so beautifully wrapped in. I was like, I couldn't wait to see Melissa pull this off. I was like, this is gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I did wonder, because I've seen an interview of you before, Bella, where you talked about how much you love Christian Bale, which I do as well. I wondered if the fact that Melissa had worked with him was another reason for you to be like, I have to ask all Christian Bale stories.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I only have maybe like 5 favorite actors, and they're two of the 5. Yeah, both amazing, and you can see why they work together. You can see why people put them together as well. Very kind of you move on. Next question. Don't let me talk.
I tell you, I will say this, that working with Bella was exactly the same kind of experience as working with Christian. Do you know that when an actor doesn't have to go in and ask a lot of questions and figure out a lot of things and try a lot of ways and do a million takes, but 2 actors can just do something together. Christian and I, when we sing that song in the car, we'd never sat in that car together, never mind sung together. Right? But he was so easy to work with because he's an actor.
Yeah.
Bella Thorne is an actor.
Indeed.
With many talents.
Many talents. Well, actually, I did want to ask you about that, Bella, because you obviously, like you said, you're a writer, you're a filmmaker as well. How have you gone about specifically picking different roles so that you learn not just as an actor, but as a filmmaker as well, that you can then go on and make, your own films at some point?
Oh yeah, like for me, I'm really lucky with my background in stunts. So that way now when I'm doing things where I need to shoot stunts, I know, and especially in the editing room, I spent a lot of time in the editing room as well, understanding as a director how things can be done and what things can't be done in the edit as well. And, for instance, like if you're going to punch somebody and it's a fake punch, when you're editing it, you like speed up 3 seconds into into the punch and then like, you know, hit the frame so that when it punches, it stops and it feels like, boom, you hit them hard instead of just like that. You know, there's like very specific little things that you learn. And so anytime I'm picking roles as well, I'm definitely like, ooh, I haven't done this. This would be fun to learn, to understand and dive into. Yeah.
Yeah. And Melissa, I have to ask you this because in a couple of weeks, the Oscars is coming upon us. And I have to say, in the last 10, 20 years, yours is one of the best Oscar speeches I think I've ever seen. And I watched it again just before I came on to talk to you about it. And I forgot that you got the Oscar for Kirk Douglas. Have you got your, was that like a complete haze for you, that few moments where you went up on stage and got the Oscar?
Yeah, Scott, and Mr. Douglas was a huge part of it, man. You know, I mean, a legend. When he came out on stage for supporting actor, I thought to myself, geez, if I win like people are telling me I might, I would get my Oscar from Kirk fucking Douglas. And so I sort of sat there with my jaw dropped while he did his little entertainment with Omar Sharif's grandson, who was the trophy boy. And up I went and just tripped over my own mouth. And now, cut to COVID Oscars, they script Glenn Close to say F-U-C-K.
I think us in the UK were very shocked that you were the one that was how you kind of lost your tongue, because we all thought, oh, it's bound to be.
Have you ever interviewed
bound to be Christian Bale?
Have you ever interviewed Kate Winslet?
No, I haven't actually. No.
The line was that I remembered her 2 years ago when I was up for Frozen River, and I said, you know, Kate made it look so fucking easy because I couldn't find my feet or my brain or my Kirk Douglas. And and she curses like a fucking sailor.
She does.
In her lovely British way.
In her lovely British way. Yeah, she does. Bella, I'll give you the last word. What would you say to people if they're going to watch this film? What would you say that they can expect from this one?
Go in with no expectations. It's always best when you do that. You know, maybe don't even watch the trailer. Like, just, you know, just go in there and be. When we read a script, we go in with no expectations, literally reading it for the first time. And trailers can sometimes, you know, fuck you over like that, where you know what's coming next. You're like, oh, at some point this kid dies and this thing happens and she might kill people. You know, just don't even listen to this interview. You know what? Just search the movie in there and go watch it, because that's when it's really fun. You know.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, look, ladies, lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. Pleasure. And I hope the film goes really well for you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey